The best car rides include loud music, windows rolled down, sunshine, and singing at the top of your lungs. I still remember one of my first road trips after becoming a newly licensed driver. Now, thinking that I was so prepared for this trip, I left my GPS at home and attempted to navigate all by myself. Now, for those of you that have ever been in the car with me, you would know that my sense of direction is slim to none. And as a result of that, I ended up 35 miles down the wrong highway before I realized I was completely on the wrong path. And my teammates today will tell you that to get anywhere, I have to use GPS. And even then, I can still find a way to be lost. But as state officers, we have lived a life on the road. We have seen some beautiful views and experienced some amazing things. But best of all, we have watched each one of you on your journeys. Now, I may not have been one that always knew where the destination was, but I have always been one to seize the day and make the most of the journey. For most people, myself included, we know exactly where we're going to be 5 years from now because our parents or mentors have pushed us to have a plan. We are influenced to solely think about the milestone markers that we pass through. I can't wait to be 16. When am I getting my driver's license? Can't wait to be a senior in high school. When am I going to graduate? Can't wait to get a new job, get a new house. Can't wait to get a raise. But what about now? Our lives are happening now. And whether you know it or not, there is a long journey ahead. Reflecting back to this last journey as a state officer, 3 elements have come to mind: the finish line, adventure, and service. Within each of these elements, there are even times when being lost can be very beneficial. The finish line. For most people, myself included, we love getting a trophy or plaque to signify our success. We strive to win and hope to receive a piece of hardware that will sit on our shelf tops. But trophies can't talk. A ribbon can't tell you what to do when you've lost your way, and a plaque can't give you that much-needed hug. If we do not learn to connect along the way, we will live a lonely life with shelves stacked high and trophy cases full, but hearts that are empty. Do we choose to be so focused on the finish line that we become lost in an unhealthy way, or do we choose to be passionately lost in the things we love along the way? Now, I grew up very goal-oriented. It was always about the next milestone, the next step, the next finish line that I could cross. And if it weren't for my mama, I really wouldn't value life's journey so much. She reminded me to take a step back from it all. I remember waiting backstage to perform the dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy, nerves running through my entire body, thinking solely about that finish line, the final bow. She came up to me, took my hands, told me to close my eyes and make a memory. Every dance competition, singing performance, and FFA event, she was there, reminding me to stop and make a memory. Washington FFA, take this time with me right now. 10 seconds out of life's crazy journey to stop and make a memory. Don't let yourself become lost in an unhealthy way. If we are passionate, life becomes less about the finish line and more about the adventure. The adventure. When we were younger, we found joy in the littlest of things, like that time your older sister was out of town and mom was finally letting you ride shotgun, or the very first time you drove, well, at least steered the tractor while you sat on the lap of a trusty adult. At that young age, we found adventure in the simplest of things, like meeting new people, family time, or building forts in the hayloft. But there comes a point in time when we start to lose that daily sense of adventure and that innocent mindset where everything is exciting. Is the real loss of innocence when we start limiting ourselves to the boundaries that we set? Think about it. When we were younger, we believed that we could do anything. Now, as teenagers and as a society, we have become so self-consumed, and social media has us constantly comparing our lives to one another. Our lives revolve around mini computers that sit in our pockets all day long. We don't take long drives anymore because on back roads, we might lose service. We can't spontaneously jump into a pool of water because our iPhones will get wet. Our adventures aren't even real unless we document them on Instagram, and our sense of adventure doesn't even exist unless it's a Facebook post or we can sum it up into 140 Twitter characters. Technology has begun to destroy the spontaneity of adventure, setting boundaries every time that we hashtag and retweet. We get lost in technology, lost in everyone else's lives, and once again, lost in an unhealthy way. Once again, don't let yourself become lost in an unhealthy way. Take a step back from the finish line and create adventures daily by taking every opportunity that we are given. Service. Most of us have probably heard someone tell us to live life to the fullest. But I'll be the first to admit that half the time I hear it, it goes in one ear and out the next. But what if I told you not to live your life to the fullest for yourself, but rather the benefit of others? Every day, we are given 24 hours to make an impact. When we wake up, we have the choice to be self-consumed or to live a life of service. Lose yourself daily in the service of others, and you just might find that it is the easiest way to define who you are. Now, I know a man who truly lives a life of service. He is an inspiration to everyone he meets and has impacted more people than I could ever count. He gets up day in and day out to work the family farm and to provide for those around him. In the wintertime, you would see him putting up a community display for everyone to enjoy. And on 4th of July, if you took a stroll through the park, you would hear his voice as it rang through the trees while he shared the gift of music. I've sat with him in the loft a time or two, listening to the joys and discomforts of his agricultural life. His hands, rough from countless of hours of work on the farm, are the same hands that hold an orphan calf as it struggles for life. After 5 back surgeries, when you would expect him to call it quits, he continues to wake up every day and give more. It is my hope that each of you have the opportunity to meet a man just like this. Some would call him a farmer, a community man, an agriculturalist, a mentor, a giver, or even a hero. But I am lucky to call him all of those things and my grandpa. My grandpa has been one of my greatest inspirations, teaching me to define who I am through passion and service. Just as my grandpa puts others' needs before his own, the American farmer puts our nation's needs before their own. The average farmer feeds over 155 people. We ask them to produce more food with less land than ever before. They lose themselves in the service of America. Our farmers live a life of service. Come rain or shine, through the joys and discomforts, we have a roof over our heads, clothing on our backs, and food in our stomachs because of the American farmer. We need our farmers in order to have a sustainable future. But we need you, Washington FFA, to be that future. Through your blue jackets, you have infinite potential to impact the world around you. And just like the farmers working over 2 million farms nationwide, you too can do something great for your community, our country, and even our world. Whether you're inspired by an ag teacher, have a mentor that has gone above and beyond, like my grandpa, or find value in the American farmer, we are all surrounded by perfect examples of serving others. Tomorrow is a new day, 24 more hours to make an impact. What adventures will you choose to take? How will you live in the moment? Washington FFA, stop and make a memory. Live for the benefit of others. I challenge you to lose yourself daily in the service of others, and you will find that being lost is the easiest way to be found. So go out and get lost.